What if I told you that one decision by Donald Trump didn't just disrupt trade, it sent shockwaves through North America's entire economy? And here's the twist. Canada and Mexico didn't just take the hit, they fought back with strategies that changed the game. How did they do it? Donald Trump's tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other goods were part of his America First agenda to protect U.S. industries and jobs. But instead, it triggered a trade war that impacted everything from the price of cars in the U.S. to international relations. What were the hidden costs of these tariffs? How did Canada and Mexico fight back to protect their economies? And what does this all mean for future trade agreements? Because we're diving deep into this fascinating and complex story. Imagine waking up to find that the cost of your morning coffee, your new car, and even your smartphone have all quietly climbed higher, but you can't quite figure out why. Beneath the surface of global trade, a war raged, fought not with soldiers, but with tariffs and taxes. And this war didn't just hurt the U.S. economy, it forced its closest neighbors, Canada and Mexico. Canada and Mexico didn't just sit back and take the hit. Retaliatory tariffs, new trade alliances. So what are the hidden costs of Trump's tariffs? How did America's closest allies become fierce economic challengers? And what does the future of North American trade look like now? As part of his America First agenda, Donald Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum, to protect American manufacturers and reduce the country's reliance on foreign goods. Tariffs extended to everything from electronics to agricultural products. The move disrupted long-standing trade agreements and led to intense negotiations with Canada and Mexico, ultimately replacing NAFTA with the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. While the USMCA sought to stabilize trade relationships, it couldn't undo the immediate economic shock that those tariffs created. But what no one predicted were the hidden costs that would ripple through the American economy. And trust me, they were massive. In early 2025, President Donald Trump reignited his America First trade agenda by imposing significant tariffs on key trading partners. On February 1, 2025, he announced executive orders implementing a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, with Canadian Energy Resources facing a 10% tariff instead. These tariffs targeted a range of goods, with a particular focus on steel. The administration justified these actions as necessary to protect national security. Back in 2020, the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, had replaced the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, aiming to create a more balanced and reciprocal trade environment among the three nations. However, the reintroduction of these tariffs in 2025 strained these relationships, leading to significant economic repercussions. But what no one predicted were the hidden costs that would ripple through the American economy. Canada's response. When Trump's tariffs hit, Canada didn't sit idly by. They responded swiftly, imposing retaliatory tariffs worth over $12.6 billion on U.S. goods, targeting everything from whiskey to ketchup. These measures had a significant impact on U.S. exports, shrinking trade volumes for key American industries. They took the opportunity to diversify their trade partners. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, opened doors to European markets, while increased trade with Asian countries strengthened their global footprint. A Canadian steel manufacturer that once relied heavily on U.S. buyers found success exporting to Europe, thanks to CETA. Canada's strategy was clear: adapt and thrive in a shifting trade landscape. Mexico's countermeasures. Mexico, too, fought back. They imposed retaliatory tariffs targeting U.S. agricultural products, including pork and apples. The economic impact was severe, with U.S. farmers losing significant export revenue. For example, pork exports to Mexico dropped by nearly 20% in the first year of tariffs, leaving many American farmers scrambling for new markets. But Mexico didn't just retaliate, they adapted. They strengthened trade relationships with the European Union and expanded partnerships within the Pacific Alliance countries, positioning themselves as a competitive player in global markets. One standout story: a Mexican farming cooperative that had relied almost entirely on U.S. buyers diversified its exports to Europe and South America. The move not only cushioned the blow of tariffs, but also boosted profits, proving that resilience and adaptability can turn trade challenges into opportunities. Stories of economic resilience. Despite the chaos caused by Trump's tariffs, remarkable stories of adaptation and resilience emerged. Let's start with the Canadian steel industry. Faced with rising production costs and reduced access to the U.S. market, Canadian steelmakers didn't fold. Instead, they upgraded manufacturing processes, embraced automation, and aggressively pursued international markets, particularly in Europe and Asia. This shift not only kept the industry afloat, but positioned it. Meanwhile, Mexican farmers turned a challenge into an opportunity. With U.S. tariffs making traditional exports less profitable, many farmers began seeking new buyers in Europe and Latin America. One avocado cooperative in Michoacan secured lucrative deals with European retailers, expanding their reach far beyond North America. But resilience wasn't limited to Canada and Mexico. In the U.S., small businesses faced daunting challenges. One electronics manufacturer in Ohio, heavily dependent on imported parts, managed to survive by sourcing components domestically and shifting their product line to higher margin custom orders. This bold move kept their workforce intact and even boosted profits despite the trade turmoil. Probability of future trade conflicts. So what's next for North American trade? According to experts, the risk of future trade disputes remains high. With growing economic nationalism, climate-related regulations, and technological competition, tensions could flare up again. But here's the dramatic twist. The next trade war might not come from the usual suspects like steel or agriculture. Instead, experts predict conflicts over green technologies and intellectual property rights. Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. are already jockeying for dominance in clean energy and advanced manufacturing. The question is, will history repeat itself? Or can these nations find a way to thrive together without tariffs setting off new battles? Trump's tariffs might have been designed to protect American industries, but they unleashed a wave of hidden costs from higher consumer prices to struggling manufacturers and fierce retaliatory moves from Canada and Mexico. But these nations didn't just retaliate, they adapted, diversified their trade partnerships, and thrived despite the challenges. Today, the North American trade landscape continues to evolve, with lessons learned and scars from the tariff wars still visible. But here's the big question for you. Do you think tariffs help or hurt economies in the long run? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into international affairs and the global economy. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.